Welcome, everybody. We'll go through some basic housekeeping items right now and just allow a couple more people to join us if you would like. But welcome. Thank you very much for being here today. My name is Sarah Olafson, and I am from United Way. If you registered for the virtual education event for CBD Oils, you are in the correct location. Thank you very much. Feel free to turn your cameras on, but keep your microphones muted. We would love to see your face during this if you are comfortable. We hope that someday we will be in person again and be able to see everybody. We will be monitoring the chat during this presentation, and we will answer any questions that come through in the chat feature. You can also unmute yourself and ask any questions at all during the presentation. The chat feature is typically across the top of your screen, and for mine, it's the second one over. Everybody's Teams looks a little bit different depending on what version you came into, but if you would like to chat in the chat feature, we will certainly be monitoring that. Thank you very much. We are recording this session today, and it will be reproduced if appropriate after the event. If you are from the media, please log off, as this presentation is not for media consumption. After the presentation, we will ask that you complete a survey. We will include that link in the chat feature at the end and in a follow-up email as well. So feel free to take that survey at the end. If you have time right now, perfect. And if you need to spend some time afterwards, that survey link will be available as well. Now, thank you. As I see a couple more people joining us today, I really appreciate it. Again, you are at the United Way CBD oil presentation. So with that, I would like to introduce Carly. Carly Johansson is in her second year of medical school at the Medical College of Wisconsin, Central Wisconsin. After graduation, she hopes to start training in family medicine residency program. Carly was born and raised in southeastern Wisconsin and only left for 2 years during graduate school, where she obtained a Master's of Science in Forensic Science at the University of New Haven. An interesting fact that you may not know about her is that she loves Great British baking shows. Maybe she can do another presentation for us on her baking skills. And perhaps we can put CBD oil in baking products as well. So, Carly, take it away. I will mute myself, and again, we will monitor the chat. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Carly, we can hear you and we can see your screen.
And are you seeing the slides?
We are.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes.
All righty. So before I start, I do want to note that I'm not the best baker. I just like watching other people bake. So my presentation is about CBD oil and its various uses. And at the end of the presentation, I would like to ask you to complete a survey. It's part of my research and it will be included in the data interpretation. It is completely anonymous. There are some demographic questions that'll ask you about your age and things like that. It's meant to observe your opinions and general knowledge about CBD oil and its uses. Before I go on in the presentation, I would like to have a disclaimer. I have no financial benefit, so I'm not really selling you CBD oil at all. This is solely an informational process. I'm neither discouraging or encouraging the use of CBD oil. I'm just informing on its uses. So without further ado, I'd like to start. So what is CBD oil? Well, CBD stands for cannabidiol, which it's much easier to say CBD than that. It is a chemical in the cannabis sativa plant or the hemp plant. It is added to many products like oils, lotions, teas, beers, etc. And you can find them in many places like CBD shops, gas stations, and shops like that. So how do people use it? So they either use it orally by swallowing the oil or eating it through food products, like I mentioned before, gummies, tea, beer, and maybe the occasional baking product. That people also place the oil underneath the tongue. Theoretically, that will get that to your bloodstream a lot quicker than maybe the oral consumption through food products. Some people inhale it via vaping. I would not, this is the one recommendation that I'm going to give. Don't do that. Vaping in and of itself is dangerous, so I would not recommend vaping in any kind of way. CBD can also be used topically through creams and lotions. And for today's talk, we're mostly focusing more on the CBD oils and lotions. That's where most of the research that I've been able to get my hands on have been focusing on. So how is CBD oil made? So it's a very long step-by-step process, but a simplified version, you can see the picture here on the left. So first, producers need to grow and cultivate a marijuana or hemp plant. So obviously this is done in places where that's legal. But that plant has to be have high amounts of CBD and low amounts of THC. THC is the particle or the chemical in marijuana that makes it hallucinogenic and makes it illegal. So they can genetically engineer the plants to make them have high CBD and low THC. Then they extract the CBD out of the plant using a series of solvents and heating. After that, they have to purify the CBD from the liquids from the previous step. And then they are adding the CBD to a product, whatever they choose. And at this point in time, there's a lot of quality control to make sure that what they're putting in these products is actually purified CBD. And they're using various different kinds of instrumentation to do this. Okay, so why is CBD so popular? So, I did something different. Now I can't see my presentation. Can you guys still see the presentation? All right, it's
Yes.
back. Sorry about that.
Carly, we can see it. You're doing just fine.
All right. So Google searches about CBD oils and products are increasing each year. This is experienced in all states. However, research shows that it's even more popular in states where marijuana is also legal. CBD is legal in most states, so they don't really know why that it's, experiencing that kind of difference. The thought is that CBD has no psychoactive effects of THC, so no hallucinations, no changes in attitude or mood, but will still have the same health benefits that marijuana can have. So that's the thought process, is why it's become so popular in the United States and around the world. So how is it actually being advertised? The four main ones that I saw in my research was it is being used as a sleep aid, pain relief, anxiety relief, and cancer symptom relief. But there are many other uses and many other things that it's being advertised for, not just these ones. So what does the FDA say? For those of you who don't know, the FDA is the Food and Drug Administration. It's responsible for the safety, efficacy, and security of medications that are given to both humans and animals. Interestingly enough, CBD oil products are advertised to both humans and animals, specifically cats and dogs. So the FDA will approve, or will only approve, of medication that are safe and effective for human or animal use. That means the benefits of the medication outweighs any kind of side effects. The medications that are approved are under the oversight of the FDA and must meet certain requirements to be sold. And that's throughout its life as a medication. So if something happens a few years down the road, the FDA can take away their approval or require the company that's making the medication to change something about it. So currently, the FDA has only approved one CBD-based medication. Interestingly enough, it is only approved for the use of rare seizure disorders in children 18 and younger. It's called Epidiolex, and it's an oral medication, and it's extremely pure CBD. Obviously, because it's made in a pharmaceutical company, they have a lot more ability to make sure that this is a pure CBD product. So there is no FDA-approved treatments for adults using CBD. So what does this mean about the CBD products that you can find in stores, like the oils, the lotions, the teas, and all those different things? They're not FDA approved. They're actually considered a supplement, and supplements don't actually need to be FDA approved. So this means that the sellers of CBD products can claim almost anything without technical scientific proof. And here you can see a CBD oil label. This was just something I got off the internet. It's very common to see something like this with the supplement facts and everything, how much CBD, how much THC is in it. Legally, they have to have about or less than 0.03% THC in the product for it to be legal. But some studies have actually looked at how much CBD is in the products and how much THC is in the products, and compared it to what is said to be in the product, and they found some discrepancies. Not enough for the THC hallucinogenic properties to be in effect, but still there have been some inaccuracies. So what do we actually know about CBD oils and their uses? So I'm going to go through these top 4 things advertised sleep aid, pain relief, anxiety by themselves to show you what we know in the scientific community. So first, with sleep, there are several studies that have been shown that CBD can improve the quality of sleep if taken in capsule form, but it's unclear how CBD oil or creams or other things can affect sleep. Of course, these are preliminary studies, and there's not enough scientific evidence to definitively prove that it aids in sleep, but there is a lot of testimonials and personal experiences from patients that have definitely indicated that it could be used for sleep. Other ways to improve sleep if CBD oil does not work for you or you don't want to try CBD. You can exercise daily. Avoid blue light before going to bed, and that's the light that comes from your TV, your cell phone, and your computer. You can also stick to a specific sleep schedule, waking up at the same time every day and going to bed at the same time every day, and try to stick to that. Reducing daytime naps also helps you fall asleep. And then making your sleeping space as most comfortable as possible, trying to get the light out and having a comfortable bed and comfortable pillow does also help with sleep. So CBD oil and pain relief. There are very promising studies showing that topical administration of CBD oil or CBD in a lotion or cream does help with chronic pain, especially with joint pain. There are no current drug trials in motion to gain FDA approval, and there probably won't be in the near future. The pain relief theory is supported, but obviously more research done to ensure that this is a method of pain relief, or one that can be used long term. Other pain relief avenues, like I said before, regular exercise. Exercise may not be fun, but it's a really good thing to keep you healthy and help with a lot of things get better. Physical therapy or occupational therapy can help with pain. Yoga and therapeutic massage has also been proven to help with pain. Speaking with your physician to get advice on pain relief is also a good idea. They may have advice or ideas that I don't have or that you haven't had either. Anxiety, like other claims, there are some studies that support the use of CBD oil for anxiety, especially in the teenage population. Each study shows a slightly different method for using the CBD, whether it's an oil, a capsule, or maybe even sorry, I lost my train of thought, or food product like tea. Although more still needs to be done to ensure safety and proper methods and which type of CBD is best suited for this. And of course, there are many other ways to relieve anxiety. Of course, regular exercise is number one. Meditating, eating a balanced diet, decreasing the amount of caffeine can also relieve your anxiety. And some medications and even counseling can help relieve anxiety. And speaking with your physician about those options can be a very good idea and very helpful for your mental health, even with more things than anxiety. So CBD oil and chemotherapy. As before, preliminary studies do show that CBD in various forms can decrease symptoms of chemotherapy, like the nausea, the pain, anxiety, etc. Again, more research should be done, especially with this, because we're not quite sure how CBD oil and chemotherapy drugs interact, and if there is going to be some sort of interaction. There are common threads that you've probably noticed throughout this presentation. There is support for many of the health benefits CBD is advertised for, but these are preliminary studies. Dosages and how the CBD is getting into the system aren't consistent within each study. And the quality of CBD in each product from brand to brand does differ, so it may be difficult to replicate the effects throughout all the products. I've also been asked if there are any side effects of CBD use, and there are some side effects. Most of these are associated with fatigue, GI issues, more commonly diarrhea, decreased appetite, and a slightly increased liver enzyme, which basically means that the liver activity or how it's working is slightly decreased. And this is different for each patient or person. You may not get any of the side effects, and you may get some. And the severity of the side effect can be also different with person to person. And there are ways that CBD has been shown to interfere with medications. And this list here that I have is by no means a full list, but these were the most common. And so with the first three, they tend to increase, or CBD tends to increase the levels in the blood. So that would mean that you have more of the medication in your blood working, and that can cause some issues like increased side effects of these particular drugs. And with this last one, clopidogrel, CBD has been shown to decrease its levels slightly in the blood, and this is can mean that it's not doing what it's supposed to do in the dosage that you've gotten. Now, whether or not the dose of CBD that someone takes can actually do these things is a different story. You may have to take quite a bit of CBD oil with the method that you're taking. And most likely the oral CBD products would be the ones that would interfere with it the most, as opposed to a topical CBD product. So let's put this all together. Generally, the side effects aren't severe. There could be some benefits to using CBD oil and its products. The effects are variable person to person. So if you do decide to take CBD oil or other products, you should speak with your physician. They may have advice, or they may want to monitor specific test results. And it's never a bad idea to make sure that your physician is knowing what kind of supplements that you're taking. So which CBD oil brand is the best? So my advice would be to do your research before buying a CBD product, including cost, CBD content, how much you're getting for each dose, and customer reviews. Resources that could be helpful is medlineplus.gov. It's a government-based website that has information on different companies and the like. So this is the point where I can take some questions, and I'm going to switch to the last slide, and these are the survey links. So this top one we're going to put in the chat and the email, and this bottom one, it's like you can use your smartphone to get to the website.
Thank you very much, Carly.
Thank you. Now how do I unshare?
So Carly, leave that screen up for just a minute, because if you have your cell phones near you, and she's gone.
Oh, did I do it?
Yeah, go back.
Okay.
There you go. If you have your cell phones, you can put your cell phone right up to the screen, and that QR code will load into your smartphone, and you can take the survey on your smartphone. So we'll just leave that up for another 30 seconds. I also put the survey link in the chat. So if you are able to open the chat, there is a survey link right there as well that you can click on. And if neither one of those works for you today, that's okay too. There will be a follow-up email, and we will include the survey link in that follow-up email. So Carly, now you can stop sharing your screen, and we can go back to seeing you.
Okay, there we go. Did that work?
I can still, there we go. Perfect. Thank you very much. At this point, we would welcome any questions if you would like to unmute your microphones. If anybody has any questions, they can either ask them in the chat feature, or we can do them orally. Carly, where are different places that you can buy CBD oil, and buying it at Family Video versus a natural food store versus like online? Is there a recommendation?
So you can find CBD oil virtually anywhere. You can find it online. There are many online merchandisers. You can find it in gas stations. You can also, there are specifically CBD shops that only sell CBD, and generally those are also kind of with vape shops. So kind of like the alternative smoking shops, I suppose. But I think that if you find, or if someone uses CBD oil or products and they find a brand that works for them, wherever they find it, it's going to be the same brand. So you just have to, like, I've talked to people about it, and they just find a brand that they enjoy, that they like, that other people seem to trust, and they get it from wherever they can, basically.
I believe somebody has their hand up right now. It looks like maybe Margie.
Yep, Marge does.
Margie?
Yeah, Marge has a question. My mother is 90 years old, and she has a lot of trouble sleeping. And she has been on the CBD oil for over a month now, and it has not helped out. But I also have read about tangles in the brain when you start to have dementia. that these tangles prevent your circadian rhythm from helping you be in a cycle to sleep. And I was just wondering if you had anything to say about that.
Unfortunately, I haven't actually learned about dementia in my classes yet, so that's probably in a couple of months. But I know that CBD oil itself, the products, they don't have the same effect on every person. So it may just be that your mother just doesn't react to it in the same way that, say you or I would react to it. It's kind of like really any medication. Sometimes it works for you and sometimes it doesn't. What I would recommend is that the next time she goes to her physician or a checkup, you can discuss other sleeping ways to help her sleep. And they probably have a much better idea than I could ever have to help you with that.
Okay, we have talked extensively with her doctor, and it just seems like nothing helps, but thank you.
Sorry I couldn't be of more help.
Is anybody else brave enough to unmute your microphone and ask a question?
There is a question in the chat from Pat Peckham. His comment is, this product has been around for a while. Why isn't there more research?
That's a really good question. A lot of the times with scientific research, there was not a huge push for figuring out whether CBD oil can really be used more than a supplement. It was mainly the big push for the medication, the Epidiolex for kids with seizures. That was probably the biggest scientific way or push in research to see if that actually helped. But why it really hasn't been researched more often, I couldn't really answer. I don't quite know, actually. I haven't read up on that. It might have to do with the perception of CBD oil. Maybe it's too connected to marijuana, and even now marijuana isn't as researched as it could be. So it might have something to do with that, but otherwise I'm not quite sure.
Carly, when you go in for a drug test for a new employer, would CBD oil come up on a drug panel?
I would imagine no. They're not looking for CBD. They'd be looking for like the marijuana, the THC, and things like that. And there shouldn't be enough of that material in the CBD products to actually test positive on a drug screen. But if you're worried about that, you can always say, hey, before you do the test, I would like you to know that I'm taking a CBD product, just in case. The very, very low chance that that would even show up.
Thank you very much.
Carly, great information. Firstly, thank you so much for putting this together. Just a question for you as far as how did you decide on researching this topic?
Good question. So last year I was involved in planning for All Things Senior. I don't know if you know about that, but they had a lot of write-ins for the previous year of their participants, and a lot of them wanted to learn more about CBD oil, especially in the over 55 community, because that's what they were doing. So I sort of took that and ran with it, and this presentation came from it.
Awesome. Well, cool to know that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Unfortunately, that event was canceled. It was supposed to be in May of 2020. But Carly, of course, had done all the research, and that was her project for school. So we've been looking for different avenues for her to present.
Carly, if you touched on this already, how about an age? Is there an age for CBD oil? I mean, can 90-some-year-old parents?
I think you have to be, you know, I don't actually know the answer to this, but I'm pretty sure you have to be over 18 to buy it. But I think, you know, if you speak with your physician, I think pretty much any age over the age of 18 can use this. I mean, can you even give it to your dogs and cats? You know, they have specific brands for them. If your cat or dog is like super anxious or has pain, you can give it to them. But no, I've not actually done the research. I know a lot of studies have used it with teenagers. I wouldn't go any younger than teens. I'm not like children, unless they have a prescription for that particular medication that I talked about.
Thank you, everybody. Does anyone else have any questions that they would like to ask by unmuting your microphone, raising your hand, or adding something in the chat? You did receive this email today, I believe, from Lori, and there will be a follow-up email that will have the survey link in as well. And if you have any follow-up questions after the fact that you would like to get a hold of Carly directly, feel free to email Lori in that email, and we can certainly put you in contact with Carly. You may want to ask a question privately to her, and that's fine too. We'll just give it about 30 more seconds. If anybody else has any questions, Carly, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate this. The information was very valuable, and we will share this out after the presentation as well. Anybody else? Last calls for questions?
Thank you for having me. It was a joy to give this presentation.
Lots of thank yous coming through in the chat. So
again, if you can open up the chat feature, the survey link was in there. If you are able to click on that and take the survey, otherwise we will send it out in a follow-up email. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Thank you for your support of United Way, and have a great afternoon.
thank you. Thanks, Carly.
Thank you. Have a nice day.